touching the washing water that was set up as Negelwasser for the morning washing upon awakening. What is the halacha if one touched this water? Does this water become tamei? Must he spill out this water and refill it with new water that is kosher, or does the water remain valid? It states in Shulchan Aruch in chapter 4, the Alter Rebbe brings it both in the Basra and the Kama, that one must be very careful not to touch the water in the vessel before washing hands in the morning, as one who does so contaminates the water with his hands, and is considered as if it was already used and is hence invalid for washing, meaning the same way you can't wash with someone else's Negelwasser water that was already used, as that water is impure. Similarly, one who touched the water in the basin before washing hands has now impurified that entire basin of water. Thus, the Alter Rebbe concludes one must be very careful while washing with the vessel that his fingers do not touch the water in the vessel. And as the Alter Rebbe states, one must be very careful about this. This, however, is referring to a very specific scenario. A common scenario, but a very specific scenario. A scenario in which case one woke up, did not yet wash hands in the morning, and has touched accidentally, so to say, the basin of water prior to washing hands, in which case we say that the water becomes impure and it needs to get new water. This applies even if it only occurred accidentally that he touched the water in the basin, the water becomes impure, according to the Alter Rebbe's ruling. However, in other scenarios, such as one already washed his hands and accidentally touched, for example, someone else's water basin, then in such a case, the water does not become impure, as the impurity has already been removed from his hands. The same thing applies regarding a case that one touched the water in the basin before going to sleep. This is common that when people prepare the water, the basin, with water prior to going to sleep, accidentally sometimes the finger or the pinky touches the water inside the basin. And one is to know that this water does not become invalid by this touch. And it only becomes invalid due to a touch of impure hands due to sleeping. And this is prior to one sleeping, so therefore the water remains pure. Furthermore, even if one intentionally scooped out some water from the basin prior to going to sleep, the water nevertheless remains valid. This is based on the Alter Rebbe's ruling in 166 regarding the laws of Netilas Yadayim for bread, in which case the ruling is that only when a malacha was done with the water does the water become invalid. However, if you scoop out water and use that scooped out water for a use, then the remaining water remains valid. Another common occurrence that's seemingly based on this halacha one is to be careful about is that when washing the hands, one should be careful that the water that drips from the impure hand does not drip back into the basin or into another person's basin and thereby impurify that water. Going to mikveh on Erev Shabbos. What is the source of this custom? What is the